Hi there, welcome to this answer explanation video. In this answer video, I'll be walking you through the fractions to percentages worksheet and also walk you through some of the tricky parts to do with this skill. Our first question asks us to match equivalent fractions to the correct percentages. So our first job is to take the fractions given to us on our left and convert them into fractions out of 100. That way we can easily see which fractions in the middle they are equal or equivalent to. So to do this, we're going to be multiplying our fractions by integers, which are whole numbers. And remember, when we do that, we need to multiply both the denominator, our bottom numbers, and our numerator, our top number, by the same number, or the same integer. So our first fraction is 3/5. So in order to make that a fraction out of 100, we're going to be multiplying this by 20. Because 5 multiplied by 20 will be 100. Because we multiplied the bottom number, we also need to multiply the top by the same amount, so 20. So 3 multiplied by 20, and that will give us 60. Second fraction, 26 over 50. We're going to be multiplying this by 2, because 50 times 2 is 100. And we're going to do the same to the top number, multiply by 2. That will give us 52. Third fraction here, we're going to be multiplying this one by 5. 20 times 5 is 100. And then we'll do the same to the top. 1 times 5 equals 5. And our last fraction, 5 over 25, we're going to be multiplying this one by 4. So 25 multiplied by 4 will give us 100. And 5 multiplied by 4 will give us 20. So now that we've converted all our fractions on the left into a fraction of 100, we can easily see which fractions they're equal to the middle. So 3/5 is equal to 60 over 100, which is here. 26 over 50 is equal to 52 over 100, which is here. 1 over 20 is equal to 5 over 100, which is on the top there. And 5 over 25 is equal to 20 over 100, which is here. And because we know that a percentage is just an amount out of 100, and these fractions are already shown out of 100, we can just go ahead and use our numerators to match them up. So 5 over 100 is equal to 5%. 60 over 100 is equal to 60%. 20 over 100 is equal to 20%. And 52 over 100 is equal to 52%. Our next question gives us a 10 by 10 grid, so we've got 100 squares, and it's asking us to shade the squares to show 6/20ths and write this as a percentage. So in order to do that, we're going to be converting this fraction, 6/20ths, into a fraction out of 100, and that will tell us how many squares we need to shade in. So in order to do that, we're going to be multiplying this fraction by 5, because 20 multiplied by 5 is 100. And because we multiply the bottom, we're going to be multiplying the top by the same amount. So 6 multiplied by 5 will give us 30. So that tells us we need to shade in 30 squares out of 100. And you can shade in your squares in multiple different ways, just as long as you remember and you make sure that you've got 30 squares shaded in. And because we know a percentage is just an amount out of 100, that tells 30 over 100 will equal 30%. In this question, we're told that competitors in the gym competition need more than 75% to get to the final. What percentage did each child score? So we've got 3 children here, and they've all scored different amounts. We've got Ava Lily, who scored 38 over 50. Tyrese, she scored 8 out of 20. And Rochelle, she scored 18 out of 25. So we're going to be using these fractions given to us and convert it into a fraction out of 100, and that will then tell us our percentage. So we'll start off with Ava Lily. She scored 38 out of 50. So to convert that into a fraction out of 100, we need to multiply 50 by 2 to turn that into 100. We'll need to do the same to the top then as well. So 38 multiplied by 2, that will give us 76. So Tyrese, she's got 8 out of 20. So we'll be multiplying 20 by 5 to make that into 100. And we'll be doing the same to the top. So 8 multiplied by 5, that will give us 40. And Michelle, she's got 18 out of 25. We need to multiply this one by 4 That will give us 100. And then 18, we'll multiply that by 4 as well, and that will give us 72. So now we've got our fractions out of 100, we can easily see the percentage they've all scored. So Ava Lily, she scored 76%. Tyresh, she scored 40 out of 100, so she's got 40%. And Michelle, she scored 72 out of 100, so she scored 72%. Now, because we know that each competitor needs to score more than 75%, the only child to have done that is Ava Lily, who scored 76, whereas Tyrese and Michelle haven't scored enough, so Ava Lily makes it to the final. In this question, we need to work out whether the statement 7 out of 25 is equivalent to 28% is true or false. So to do that, we'll be using the fraction given to us, 7 over 25, and converting that into a fraction out of 100, and that will give us a percentage that we can use to compare to 28%. So in order to make 7 over 25 into a fraction out of 100, we're going to be multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 4, because 25 times 4, that will give us 100. And because we've done that to the bottom, we'll need to do the same to the top. So 7 multiplied by 4, that will give us 28. So now that we've got a fraction, we can see that 28 over 100 is equal to 28%. So going back to our original statement, 7 over 25 is equivalent to 28%. That statement is true. This time, we've got another statement given by Joey. Joey says, 1/20th as a percentage is 5%. Is he correct? Convince me. So in order to work out whether 1/20th is the same as 5%, we need to convert this fraction into a fraction out of 100, and that will give us our percentage. So 1 over 20, we need to multiply both the numerator and denominator by 5, because 20 multiplied by 5 will give us 100, and then 1 multiplied by 5 will give us 5. So now we've got 5 out of 100, we've got a fraction out of 100, we can convert that into percentage, which is 5%. So going back to Joey's original statement, 1/20th as a percentage is 5%. Is he correct? Convince me. Yes, he is correct, because once you've multiplied 1/20th by 5 to make it into a fraction out of 100, we can clearly see that 5 over 100 is the same as 5%. In this question, we're told that in this diagram, each shaded part is 5/25ths of the area of the rectangle. What percentage is the total white area? Well, we can start off by using the fraction that's given to us and converting that into a fraction out of 100, and that will tell us how much these blue areas will be worth as a percentage. So 5/25ths, we're going to convert that into a fraction of 100. We're going to be multiplying that by 4, because 25 multiplied by 4 will give us 100. And we'll be doing the same to the top as well. So 5 multiplied by 4, that will give us 20. So now we know that when converted into a fraction out of 100, 5/25ths is 20 out of 100. That will be 20%. So that tells us each blue section will be worth 20%. And because we've got 2 lots of those, we've got 40% of the entire rectangle shaded in. So that tells us that the white area remaining will be 60%. Now again, we can check that because we can use the diagram to help us. We know that we've got 5 separate parts. And the fraction that isn't shaded in is 3 out of 5. And again, we'll convert this into a fraction out of 100 then as a percentage, and that will let us check whether it is 60% or not. So 3 over 5, we're going to be multiplying this by 20 to get into a fraction out of 100. So 5 multiplied by 20, that will be 100. And 3 multiplied by 20, that will give us 60. And when converted to a percentage, that is 60%. So the white area that isn't shaded in is worth 60%. In our last question, we're told that Malika has converted a fraction into a percentage. She says, my numerator is even, my denominator is 20 or 25, and my percentage is less than 60%. What could the fraction and percentage combinations be? Find 2 examples for each denominator. Now, there's quite a lot of information to unpack here, and there are various answers possible, so we'll take this step by step together. So first off, we know that whatever a fraction is, it will definitely have a denominator of either 20 or 25. We also know that whatever her numerator is will be even, so digits such as 1, 3, 5, 7 can't be used because they're odd numbers, so that makes it slightly easier for us. And last but not least, we're also told that whatever her fraction is when converted to a percentage is less than 60%. So by using those facts, we'll start off by using 20 as our denominator first. Now, we'll use our knowledge of halving because we know that a half is 50% and that already is less than 60%. And because 20 is an even number, we can go ahead and half that straight away. So we can use that as our first combination. 10 over 20. So we know that is 50%. Now we can go ahead and check that by converting this fraction into a fraction out of 100. So 20 times 5 will give us 100. And then 10 times 5 will give us 50. And when converted to a percentage, that is 50%. So our first combination we can use is 10 over 20 and 50%. So now that we've used our knowledge of 50%, we know automatically that whatever even number less than 10 will give us a percentage less than 50%. So we'll go ahead and try another even number now. Let's say, for example, we'll try 6. So 6 is still an even number. We're still using 20 as our denominator. And we're going to be multiplying this by 5 again to convert it into a fraction out of 100. And that will give us our percentage. So 20 multiplied by 5, that will be 100. And then 6 multiplied by 5, that will be 30. So 30 out of 100, that is 30%. So there's our second combination. We can use 6 over 20. It uses an even number as a numerator. Denominator is still 20. And the percentage, when converted, is still less than 60%. So there are two combinations there for using 20 as a denominator. So now we'll try using 25 as a denominator, and it is slightly trickier this time. We can't halve it like we did with 20 because 25 is an odd number. But what we can do is use trial and error and our existing knowledge of equivalent fractions and percentages. So we know we have to use an even number. So we'll first try, for example, 8 out of 25 because we know that 8 over 25 will roughly be about a third because there are 3 lots of 8 in 24 and that's just slightly shy of 25. So we'll start off with doing that. We'll put 8 there. And we'll put 25 there. And again, we can check this by converting into a fraction out of 100, and that will give us our percentage. So this time we'll be multiplying 4 because 25 times 4 will be 100. And then we'll be doing the same to the top as well. So 8 multiplied by 4, that will give 32. So it still uses an even number at the top. We've got denominator 25. And when converted into percentage, 32 over 100, that will give us 32%, which fits our parameters. So that can be our first combination for our second fraction there. So now that we've used an even number and it gives us 32%, we can be a bit more adventurous this time. Let's try a higher number. Let's try, for example, let's go for 14. So 14 is an even number. We'll use 25 as the denominator, and again we'll be multiplying this one by 4. So 25 multiplied by 4, that will give us 100, and then 14 multiplied by 4, that will give us 56. And when converted to a percentage, that will give us 56%. Let's just double check to see it works. So 14, that's an even number as a numerator, so that works. We're using 25 as our denominator, so that works. And when converted to a percentage, it is less than 60%. So there's our second combination for our second fraction. That was an answer video for the fractions and percentages worksheet from Class of Secrets, and I hope you found that useful. You can watch the video tutorial linked to this skill over at kids.classroomsecrets.co.uk, or you can access lots more resources for this skill on classroomsecrets.co.uk.